in the global and awesome planet, we have
Yes.
another very exciting guest, an awesome senior. By all his accomplishments, I don't even know where to start and where to end
Thank you.
and how to describe him.
Thank you.
Aside from his very smiling face and he's always so busy, he is an author of almost 5 books, a CMMA awardee, a Palanca awardee. He's into real estate. He's a college professor, a writer, a poet. That's nice to
Yes.
hear. And a columnist. But important to me and very interestingly, he invented or he started the World Pandesal Day. Let's ask why this is all about, why he is so passionate about Pandesal and
Thank
history.
you.
I would like you all to meet Wilson Lee Flores. Hi, Wilson.
Hi, Nancy. Kamusta dyan sa Houston, Texas?
Okay
Hope
naman
you're
dito.
okay. Yes.
Ano lang ngayon, 47 degrees ang lamig. So,
Wow.
yeah. So, at saka walang pandesal dito. Kaya gusto
Ay,
ko
wow.
sana.
Padala ko kung
Anyway.
pwede lang.
Yeah. Wilson, before anything, why don't you
Yes.
tell us your story?
Yes.
Where you
Ako
would like to...
kasi, thank you, Nancy.
Okay.
Ako kasi, I love to eat all my life. I love to eat. When I was in college, I remember reading sa newspapers, sa Philippine Daily Inquirer, the column of the famous, the late Dr. Doreen Fernandez, the food critic, and she would praise this old bakery in Quezon City, ang pangalan, Kamuning Bakery. She would write about it na favorite bakery daw niya. She would go there, she would buy. And then whenever she goes there to buy daw, namimit niya people na nakakotse, riding by car, iba nakatsinelas, naglalakad lang, all kinds of people from all walks of life, including for the late President Cory Aquino daw. Nakita niya personally buying bread there. So I was so intrigued, this 1939 era bakery. I went all the way there as a college student to be a customer. So on and off through the years, naging customer ako. Pero naging ano na siya, parang quiet, small bakery. Parang hindi na siya as active as during their heydays. Kasi alam niyo naman, 1939 when they started the bakery, there were only few bakeries in the world, di ba? You have to have this old big space for wood-fired brick ovens na tinatawag pugon baking. So very few people could bake. So very few big bakeries. Tapos in the 50s, now 1950s and later on, you have this modern technology. So everybody could bake now. Every person in the house, a high school student, could bake in the house. Every grocery has a bakery. Lahat yan may bakery na. So ang nangyayari, they decrease na their volume. They don't want to do it anymore. It's hard to do bakery business now because every street corner, there's a bakery na. All the groceries, all the malls may bakery na. Then you have the massive industrial bakeries na yun mass production factory, millions of bread per minute or whatever, billion peso factories na sold everywhere, every sari store, convenience store. So they sold this bakery to me. They were selling this Kamuning Bakery years later as real estate. And I'm in real estate kasi I started out as a real estate broker when I was a little bit younger noon. No capital, so I started as a broker, then became a real estate investor and business person, pero still a broker pa rin. So pinapabenta sa akin this property. Nagulat ako. Sabi ko, this was the bakery I've been going to since I was in college. So I was a bit sad kasi it used to be very famous. Now it's for sale as real estate na, not even as a bakery. So they wanted to sell it now. Sabi ko, ako na lang bibili kasi if I'm not the one who buys it, I'm sure others don't want to run it. Siguro, they'll just tear it down, gawin niyang apartment, gawin niyang commercial building. So I said, ako na lang bibili. Nagulat yung may-ari, that family, what will you do with it? Can you retain kahit a small store lang? Wag mo na totally shut down the bakery of our mother. Yung nanay nila, Attorney Leticia Bonifacio Javier, the founder. Sabi ko, no, I will revive the entire bakery. I will refurbish it, repair it. I will try to maintain it. Sabi nila, why daw? Nagtataka sila. Sabi ko, number one, I love history. Number two, I love good foods. Why history? Alam mo, Nancy and Anton, ang feeling ko, the history of a community or of a country, you don't see only in museums. They're not only found in history books and textbooks. Ang belief ko, the history of a nation, of a community, you can see also by the way we bake, by the way we cook, and the way we eat. So, napafascinate ako na Kamuning Bakery is not only a business, it's not only a small, cute bakery, it's also a place where traditions are continued. For
Yes.
example, Pandesal. Alam mo, when I bought this and I started running it a few years ago, several years ago, alam mo, na-discover ko, in the whole world, Pandesal pala is unique to the Philippines. It's not
Uh-huh.
something we imported from Spain. Because I keep researching. There's no Pandesal in Spain. There's no Pandesal in Mexico. There's no Pandesal in Argentina. Kasi akala ko before, years ago, I thought the Spaniards came to the Philippines and taught us how to do Pandesal. Kasi, di ba, you know naman, in the Philippines, we are a rice-eating people mainly. And
Yes.
the Europeans eat bread, di ba?
Yes.
But when research ko, it's a unique Filipino bread and invention. And at the start, you asked me, why did I start World Pandesal Day? When I bought it, ay ginawa ko, nagulat kasi ako, the public started supporting us and coming back, all the customers. I use social media, nag-Facebook ako, Instagram, and Twitter. People kept coming back, old customers na, like when they were kid, ngayon lolo na sila, they're coming back. Natutuwa ako. So, na-realize ko, Nancy, there's such a day as World Food Day, and there's such a day as World Bread Day pala by United Nations.
Uh-huh.
Every October 16 is World Bread Day and World Food Day. But since, Nancy, in the Philippines, we're not too much a bread-eating country, so World Bread Day was not a big thing. People don't really celebrate it in a big way. We're more rice people. So,
Yes.
na-realize ko, I want to celebrate World Bread Day in a unique Filipino way. Filipinize ko ang World Bread Day. So sabi ko, ano pinakasikat na tinapay sa Pilipinas? De Pandesal, di ba? Whether you are rich or elite or whether you are ordinary person, everybody loves Pandesal. So sabi ko, gawin natin World Pandesal Day. And then ang ginawa ko, I talked to my accountant and my staff and bakers. They're all very good team members. Sabi ko, can we set aside one day out of 365 days na from 5:30 when we open Kamuning Bakery in Quezon City up to night time, 8, 9 o'clock, can we just give out breads the whole day? Can we do it physically and financially? Nagulat sila, sabi niya, sir, ano ba yan? Sige na, bago ka lang bumili nito, hindi pa best na kumikita. Sige na, katuwaan lang. Tapos parang thank you to the public, thank you to all the
Yes.
customers. So we announced it. So alam mo, nakakatuwa, we gave away talagang at 70,000 breads kinumpute namin and more pa, naging more pa. So alam mo, wala pang 5:30, pinapakita sa TV and the newspapers, people were lining up, a lot of people, and many are urban poor, ordinary people. So ang maganda pa dito, Nancy, you don't need to be very rich to share something. When
Yes.
the suppliers and other people heard me doing that, some I have wealthy customers na owner of Mega Sardines. Sabi niya, magbibigay kami ng sardinas to every ano mo. Tapos, yung sikat na company, yung Mondelez, the multinational company, when they saw us doing this, on the
Keso.
second year, sabi nila, we'll give out Eden cheese to everyone that you
Yeah.
give out to. So,
Woo!
every customer, meron kami isang pack of pandesal, 5 pieces ba yun na pandesal per person, libre. Inside every pack na may 5 pandesal, may libreng Eden cheese, may libreng sardinas na mega sardine, mayroon pa nagbigay ng juice. I have a customer na very wealthy. I forgot the brand of the juice. Anong name ng brand niya? But, ano yun, naka-tetra pack. Hindi siya yung sikat na brand. Ha? Ano siya, up and coming young brand siya. Nagbigay ng ang dami-dami. So, it's a fun thing. This pandemic interrupted it lang for 2 years because we don't want crowds. Ayaw
Mhm.
namin na maraming tao pumipila sa labas and everything. So, we temporarily stopped it lang during the pandemic, but we continued celebrating it by giving it out to, nag-tie up kami with Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte, and during the pandemic, maniwala ka, Nancy, we were baking tens of thousands of breads every day with Quezon City, tie up kami, and they were giving it to all the medical frontliners in the government hospitals and their shelters, And sila pa nagbigay to the urban poor na they sheltered in Quezon Memorial Circle. Kasi yung mga homeless people in Quezon City, ayaw nila during the pandemic scattered everywhere, di ba? So they brought them all to Quezon Memorial, that park. Doon sila nakatira with special place. Yun, we coordinate with Quezon City. Si Mayor Joy Belmonte, very masipag siya. So yung staff niya nagdi-distribute for us to all the nakakatuwa. And
So
people
imagine
donate.
from one bread, parang si Jesus na
Ang
nag-multiply.
galing mo. Ang
Yeah!
galing mo. Yun ang inspiration. Tapos ito pa, our two major suppliers, San Miguel Flour Mill, San Miguel Mills, and the Philippine Foremost Flour Mill, when they saw it, they donated also flour to help us. Nakakatuwa kasi they saw us doing it talaga. Nakakatuwa. The
Alam
owner
mo,
ko mismo nag-text ha. Alam mo, we are a very small bakery. Kamuning Bakery is not a big chain, not a big company. The owner texted me, the two owners of the two biggest flour mills in the Philippines, texted me. Sabi niya, Wilson, I saw you doing this. Can I help out? Tapos nag-text sa akin, nagulat ako eh.
I
Ang
have
bayat.
something to say. I
Yes,
think
thank you.
you have golden hands.
I
Alam mo
thank you,
yun?
thank you.
Diba?
With the help of all the people and the
Yeah,
supplier, the customer.
excellent.
Thank you, Nancy.
All
Nancy,
right.
thank you.
So anyway, before anything, kasi
Yes.
not only Filipinos are watching this, this is global.
Yes.
Can you in a few words describe what
Yes.
really is pandesal and what's the ideal size?
Very interesting. I researched, and Dr. Doreen Fernandez, the late customer of Kamuning Bakery, wrote in books and in her columns that what we are baking in Kamuning Bakery called Pandesuelo was the original pandesal. Before pandesal came along, everyone in the Philippines, not only Kamuning Bakery, everyone, we ate pandesuelo. Pandesuelo is as big as a fish. It's not as big as an egg now like pandesal, as big as a fish, and it's not all soft like pandesal. Pandesal is all soft, di ba?
Yeah.
And pandesuelo is like baguette. It's like the baguette of France. It's crispy outside, malutong, and inside it's dense, siksik, and it's soft and dense inside. It's as big as a fish. Do you know why it's called pandesuelo? Because before there was no modern baking na modern small ovens. It used to be all done by these big, huge wood-fired brick ovens called pugon. So the baking was on the floor. The floor of the pugon oven, it's all brick, di ba? Bricks.
Yes.
So they're cooked there directly. The breads, the dough are all baked directly without any baking pan. There's no tin pan So when it comes out, every bread is crispy and dense. So that's the way we ate bread before. Then the Americans came down, sabi ni Dr. Doreen Fernandez, she wrote, the Americans came 100 years ago and conquered the Philippines. They colonized us, di ba? When they were colonizing us, they look at the way we were baking. Sabi niya, that's not the modern way to bake. The modern way to bake, you have to put the tin pan first, the metal baking pan first, and then you put the dough on top, and then that's the time you put the entire metal thing inside the oven, not directly on the floor. So when the breads came out, it's not directly baked on the floor na, di ba? So naging all soft already. So the bakers had to think of another name. It's no longer the same. The texture is not the same anymore. It's no longer crispy, no longer dense. So it's already soft, all soft, as big as a fish pa rin. The original pandesal is as big as a fish. Di ba? And then they called it pandesal. And I'll tell you why pandesal later on. I have another theory on the name of pandesal. So anong nangyari? Do you know, Nancy, people in the whole Philippines forgot already pandesuelo because people don't anymore use pugon oven, no longer using wood-fired brick oven. So no more this pandesuelo bread almost became extinct in the memory of people. Even well-known writers, si Sandy Dasa, the writer, when somebody gave him that pandesuelo, sabi niya, ano ba yan, Wilson? Tinekcha ko, ang sarap-sarap, what is this bread? This is so delicious. Sabi ko, pandesuelo. Even Boots Dalisay, the famous writer, asked me, what is this bread? Why is this pandesuelo? I had to explain it based on my research. I have another theory
Hindi
naman
siya
on
monay?
pandesal.
Hindi yan
Hindi,
monay?
iba, totally iba.
Iba pa rin.
Mona is soft. One of our favorite breads is soft mona. It's soft, different. I forgot to bring Pandesuelo here. I'll send it to you, no kidding. Balikbayans would buy Pandesuelo and Pandesal and bring it to US and Europe. Kasi breads
Wow!
daw. Kasi breads, I was asking Balikbayan, why do you bring bread? Our breads have no preservatives. They don't last more than a week, di ba? Totally, Kamuning Bakery, all our baked goods, whether cookies or breads or cakes, no preservatives, lahat, no chemicals. Do you know what the Balikbayans told me? I learned also, you put breads inside the freezer, it will last
Yes.
half a year. Yun.
Yes.
Isa pa, why Pandesal? Why
Oh.
Pandesal? Ang theory ko, I've not read this from Doreen Fernandez. This is only my theory. Kasi, the pugon oven, under the bricks of the floor, the entire floor sa baba, puro salt.
Yes.
It's a bed of salt. I realized why salt. Because salt preserves the heat.
Yes.
So, our bakers, they start early. Alam mo, very fascinating bakery of Kamuning Bakery. The bakers are like fishermen. They are like farmers. Why? When we are all sleeping soundly, very nice sleep, 2-3 o'clock, they were already waking before the sunrise. They would start baking and cooking. So, the oven is very hot, diba? 2-3 o'clock in the morning. You'd be surprised, Nancy and Anton. Up to 9 or 10 o'clock in the evening, you go to Kamuning Bakery, the entire oven is still very hot. Why? Because of the salt, the bed of salt. So I think my theory is, because I keep asking my bakers, do you put salt inside the pandesal? Sir, walang salt ito. Walang asin inside the bread. Well, how come it's called bread of salt, pandesal, di ba? My theory is, because this bread, pandesal, is cooked, is baked on the oven with a bed of salt, with a floor of salt.
Good.
That's my theory. That's my theory. There's no other, I could not find any explanation. So, I
Pero
love
ngayon,
pandesal.
now, pandesal is being used as an editorial prop for Philippine economy. Sabi mo nga,
Yes.
ganyan kalaki. Ganyan pa rin ba
Yes.
kalaki? Okay pa rin
Very
ba
good.
ating
Alam mo,
economy?
Nancy, very, very good what you just mentioned about economy and everything. I'll tell you why. Because pandesal used to be as big as this.
Yeah.
But in the past 100 years, naman, our economy has its up and down, di ba? Up and down cycles, the political, economic situation. So life has not been very easy through the decades. So buying power of people became less and less. People want to have affordable bread. So instead of this size, the bread has become the size of an egg. Kasi laki na ng itlog. So that's our pandesal now. Not only that, there are some bakeries that I've been to, I'm fascinated. There's also small mini pandesal like this. Yun just one, very fascinating. And one more thing about the pandesal, it's a very flexible bread.
Yes.
We eat it as a sandwich, di ba? For all kinds of sandwich. One thing pa I discovered, we all know naman as kids, I don't know other countries, but in the Philippines, we love to eat noodles, pancit, or spaghetti with breads. Diba?
Yeah.
So during the pandemic, we started also a lot of noodle dishes in Kamuning Bakery. Tapos I told our bakers and our staff and our cooks, we have to give out free pandesal for every order of bilao. Bilao is the round basket.
Yes.
We put the spaghetti or noodles there, all kinds of noodles. Every order, depending on the size, we give out free pandesal because we are a bakery. We cannot just be selling noodles only, and we're like an ordinary restaurant. So every buyer of noodle bilao gets free pandesal whether they like it or not.
Paano yung iba nilalagyan ice cream?
Ay, that's very fantastic idea. Alam mo, in the Philippines, we are really very creative in the Philippines. We use sandwich, we use ice cream as a filling, di ba, palaman.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. And many other ways to eat pandesal. And the traditional way, another way, with coffee.
Yes.
Alam mo, in Kamuning Bakery also, during the time when I became the owner, I sourced the best Filipino coffee. I don't buy imported beans kasi I want to be consistent with the image of Kamuning Bakery as a Filipino traditional panaderia. So, ang source of my coffee beans is from Atok, Benguet. It's a small town 7,000 feet above sea level in Benguet province in the mountainous area with among the best beans in the world. Ang ganda. Arabica beans. And then we serve that. We also have beans. Nakakatuwa.
Ay, nako.
It's like a
Um,
museum. Have you seen the movie Willy Wonka? There's a Willy Wonka movie na he
no.
goes inside. It's a chocolate factory. I'm
Yeah.
not as big as that, Kamuning Bakery. Pero I feel like a small kid inside a toy museum or something. Kasi the Kamuning Bakery, it's not just a business. It's like a museum of Filipino pastries and breads. Do you
Yeah.
know, Brazo de Mercedes?
Yes.
Di ba?
Yes.
Up to now, I'm wondering why, ang joke ko sa baker ko, baka 100 years ago o 70 years ago, baka there's a baker galit, angry with the mother-in-law, tapos the mother-in-law is Mercedes, tapos sabi niya, praso ni Mercedes yan, kasi ang laki. Did you
Malaki.
see that? I've not seen a woman with an arm or
Ako,
braso.
meron. Ako, ayan, no?
No, hindi. Pang pianono lang sa'yo. Do you know pianono? Pianono is
Yes,
the
ano, no?
slimmer. Yes,
Yeah.
pianono is like the slimmer version of Brazo de Mercedes. I'll tell you a little story about pianono. Pianono is actually a Spanish pastry.
Yes.
Named after an Italian pope. There was an Italian pope in Rome before. Pero the way we pronounce it, I forgot the name of the pope. Pero we changed the pronunciation into pianono in the Philippines. We Philippinize it. Parang pansit. Pansit is a Chinese invention thousands of years ago. Pero when it came to the Philippines with the Chinese immigrants, we Philippinize it naging pansit. Tapos
Yes.
may Filipino flavors. Ganyan din nangyari sa our breads like ensaymada. Ensaymada is somewhere in Spain eh. But when
Yes.
it came here, naging ano na.
Wala ngang ensimada yata sa Spain eh. But anyway, Wilson, how old
Yeah.
is your oven? How is it
Yes,
not pugon?
very
How old is your
fascinating.
pugon?
You should come when you're in the Philippines again.
Yes.
1939 pa. The oven, the two huge ovens of Kamuning Bakery Cafe, as old as Quezon City, 83 years old now. 1939. And as old as Batman. Do you know Batman was created 1939? So it's as old as Batman, it's as old as Quezon City. We were the first bakery in this city. And do you know who was our first customer?
Who?
The first customer and the first suki and the reason Kamuning Bakery came into being, Don Alejandro Roses.
Oh.
The famous street, there's a famous street in
Yes,
Quezon City.
yes, yeah.
And maybe you know the son of Don Alejandro Roses, our second generation customer, the late Chino Roses.
Yes. Yeah.
And the grandson told me all these stories. The grandson is
Waki. Si Waki.
Waki. Galing mo.
Yeah.
You know
Eh,
Waki.
kaibigan ko siya. Hi, Waki!
Uy, si Waki is, do you know how old Waki is?
100 years old.
Hindi, he's as old as Kamuning Bakery. He told, do you know he told me his grandfather kasi was co-founder of Quezon City.
Yes.
The grandfather helped Quezon buy the whole property from Tuason and then naging city councilor and statesman. Si Don Alejandro Roses was a prominent newspaper publisher.
Yes.
3 newspapers, English, Tagalog, and Spanish. And then, sabi niya kay Quezon, let us do this Quezon City envisioned by President Quezon. Sabi niya dun sa suki niya na there's a bakery in Manila na suki siya doon. Sabi niya to the owners, you have to open a branch in the new city we are doing. We are creating. A nice city cannot have no bakery. Pero the old couple na mag-asawa doon, sabi niya matanda na kami, we can no longer open a branch all the way out there. Our daughter is newly married, Leticia Bonifacio Hadmer. We will just ask our daughter and her husband to go with you there and open a branch of Los Baños Bakery. Wala na yung Los Baños Bakery. It used to be in Singalong, Manila, where Don Alejandro Roses always buys his pandesuelo and all these other breads. Tapos, when he brought this young couple there, in the oldest neighborhood, the first neighborhood of Quezon City is Barangay Kamuning. That is Project 1, pero hindi ginagamit yung name na Project 1. Di ba there's Project 2, Project 3, hanggang Project 8. So sabi niya, in this corner area where there's a tree and then in the corner, that place, you put up your bakery here. And the branch of Los Baños Bakery. And the daughter, when she saw the place, sabi niya, no, I will not open a branch of my parents' bakery. I will put up my own name. Tapos the neighborhood used to be filled with kamuning trees.
Yeah,
Kamuning is a tree.
beautiful.
Yes, sabi niya, I'll name this after the trees around this area, and naging Kamuning Bakery. It was sold daw, sabi ni Waki sa akin, the grandfather helped arrange for the government to sell the land to this young couple, 50 centavos per square meter, na no interest loan, I think 10 years loan. So they put up Kamuning Bakery Cafe, and the first customer was Don Alejandro Roses. Hanggang si Waki before the pandemic used to go there pa. Alam mo, Waki,
Rocky, I love you.
Waki dresses like a young guy.
Yeah,
Naka t-shirt, naka shorts, and very sprightly and happy, cheerful guy. Ang galing mo, you know everyone.
nagbibisikleta pa nga yan eh.
Ang galing, di ba? He has a place in Baguio. I haven't
Yes,
visited
and
yet eh.
the Rose's house, is that still there in Quezon City? Doon sa may
Yes,
South
yes, yes.
something? Yeah.
Yes, Scout area. Ang galing mo. Wow, you know so many
Tanda na
things.
kasi, ha?
You're like a walking encyclopedia for a young person. You're young compared to
No,
Waki.
I'm old. Anyway, Wilson,
Thank you.
you studied in Ateneo and Peking University. What
Yes,
was it
yes.
like in Peking University? What did you study
Yan.
there?
Very interesting. That Peking University na yan, it's the most famous school in China. Parang Harvard nila daw yan. I was invited kasi naging president ako of Unbuilt Business Club, and there were many other business organization, mga younger, in-invite kami for several weeks lang yan, special short course on economics and history. Parang crash course siya na intensive, na special short course. I was invited there, and they have a fantastic hotel pa inside. Alam mo yon? That university is the oldest university in China and very prestigious. Yun, very interesting. Tapos, all over Southeast Asia, at that time, I was younger pa, now middle-aged na ako, puro young businessmen all over Southeast Asia invited. Parang special program siya for young entrepreneurs. We were invited there. And we have all these famous professors from that university giving us economics, business ideas, and lessons. Very fascinating.
Does that have something to do with your roots? What are your roots? Are they pure
Yes.
Chinese?
Very interesting. My ancestors, very fascinating. Many of the ethnic Chinese in the Philippines are 2, 3, 4 generations, di ba? I'm
Yes.
7th generation in the Philippines.
Wow.
7. Based on my research, our ancestor from the father's side came to the Philippines 1752. So this is 170th year of our family in the Philippines. I have all kinds of fascinating relatives. I have a relative na writer in Inquirer din, columnist, si Queen Ali Chua. She's my second cousin. And many others, doctors, scholar. Mayroon pa kaming ambassador to the Vatican before, nanalo ng Magsaysay Award 2-3 years ago. That's my uncle. He's 6th generation. He has been telling me to write the history of the family. We have all kinds of people. Interesting. We have all kinds of people in the doctors, scholars. Tapos ako naman, yun, that's the history of our family. We came here during the Spanish era, when China was all this civil war. And very interesting, the Chinese immigrants brought a lot of food ideas to the Philippines.
Yes.
Na naging Filipinized. Like us, our roots are from China, pero we become Filipino citizens. Parang pansit. Parang pansit and siopaw and siomai, originally from China, pero it came to the Philippines. Yung lumpia, our lumpia naging Filipinized na. The lumpia of Philippines is not exactly the same as the lumpia there. Some the same, some a little bit variation na. Yun. That's my roots.
Baka you can tell us, baka you know a little about Lomi. Bakit ang Lomi naging famous sa Batangas? Would you know?
Very fascinating. My theory is maybe there's a immigrant entrepreneur na very enterprising, went to Batangas and settled there, and maybe made a name for himself cooking this Lomi. Tas naging sikat yung Lomi doon compared to other places. I think
sabi nila kasi during the time in Intramuros when some of the Chinese were being
periodically
pinapaalis sila.
Yes.
Some of the rich Batangas families adopted the Chinese, and then they built ovens na to make up pancit, lomi, tinapay, also. All of
Yes,
that.
not only that, in Pampanga, the reason the people in Pampanga are so good at foods now, based on history, during the time when the Spanish and the Chinese were having clashes, may mga problema, that the Chinese immigrants would flee to Pampanga. Ang dami.
Yes,
They
yes.
were the ancestors of the prominent families of Pampanga now, the puro
Ah.
Chinese mestizos. That's why that's one of the reasons the Kapampangan are so good at the cooking foods now. That's one of the
Oh,
reasons now, sabi nila. And isa
okay.
pa, si Feliz Santa Maria, one of
Yes.
our
Hi,
customers,
Feliz.
ay magaling yan, one of our customers, she wrote in a book yung Governor General's Kitchen yata. I
Yes.
was fascinated. Alam mo ba, the first bakery in the Philippines was in Intramuros. And magugulat ka, do you know the bakers were not Spaniards? All the
Chinese.
bakers there were Chinese immigrants.
Yes, yes, yes,
All.
yes, yes,
The owner of the bakery was the Spanish government.
yes.
The first bakery in the Philippines. Tapos, yun, kasi the Spaniards cannot eat rice yata every day like us. So they have to have, but they don't want to work yata. So it
Yeah,
was the Chinese who was doing the baking daw noon.
yes. Sila rin yung nag-aano ng kakao noon di ba?
Yes. Even, our pastry in the Philippines, the biko,
Uh-huh.
that's Chinese.
Ah,
B
I
is
didn't
rice.
know that.
B is rice.
Oh,
Ko is pastry. Biko,
oh,
Biko is
oh,
Hokkien eh. B is uh, kanin. Hindi bigas
okay.
kanin siya.
Uh-huh.
B is kanin, ko is pastry. Biko.
So what is bigas? Bigas.
Yun, de. Bigas talaga Tagalog yata
Bigas.
yun.
Okay.
Tagalog yata yan. Hindi yata. I don't know, maybe
All right.
maybe. Thank you.
Before we go to before we leave the Pandesal Kamuning Bakery
Yes.
episode mo,
Yes,
I
yes.
know that it burned down for a
Yes,
while,
3
and you
years
want to
ago.
decide. Now, what I want
Yeah,
to know is what made you decide. Siyempre,
to
pag
continue.
nangyari yun, you will be so down. But what made
Yes,
you
yes,
think
yes.
you want to go on? Yung positive attitude mo. You have to, I think the Gen X
Yes.
who are
Thank
watching
you.
can be inspired by you.
Thank you. Alam mo, there's a writer nga there's a writer sa Manila Times who told me, don't be discouraged, don't shut it down kasi there's a famous restaurant owner na nasunog din ng business niya. I forgot the name. Mayroon
North
siya,
Park.
Nobu yata. Nobu or
North Park.
someone.
North
Uh,
Park.
it's a foreign
Ah,
Nobu or something. A foreign guy na parang gave up na almost because very disheartening when you got burned, di ba? Kamuning Bakery has a neighbor kasi called M-Bar before. Wala na yung M-Bar. It was a resto bar. When it got burned, it affected the entire Kamuning Bakery. So our entire second floor was gutted, everything, our equipment. The reason I wanted to continue, I love food pa rin, and I'm a positive thinker. I'm a positive attitude person. Everything bad that happens to us could be turned into opportunity or lessons or for us to be better persons. So right now that we are talking, I'm now repairing finally the roofs. The roofs. Now, kasi noon I had a temporary tent use over it muna because
yeah.
the former owner still had 30% share before and wanted time to think whether he wants to invest or no more. He's 80 years old na, so he sold his shares to me. Why positive thinking? I keep saying na we could still continue because the bakery naman, it's not entirely the building, it's the people, it's the recipe. The structure is still there, the oven is still there, the walls are still there. I preserve whatever remains of it pa, and I'm restoring it. I'm not tearing it down, I'm still restoring it. And we continued baking. I think to the public, we continued selling nonstop. We did not close. Even the pandemic, Nancy, during the
Oo.
pandemic, during the hard lockdown, we did not close even one single day.
Amen. Galing.
Oo.
Okay.
We
You
continued.
know, people, the young ones who have not yet been in the Philippines, they will be
Yes.
able to see from the photos, and
Yes.
Anton will just upload the photos, and you can caption them and explain to us the story of your photos. Nako,
Yes.
ilang taong ka na niyan, Wilson?
I not this one. These are the founders. The one on the left, the extreme left, was the founder, si Attorney Leticia Bonifacio Javier, and
Okay.
beside her is the daughter, si Beth Javier, and then the one in the middle, si Ted Javier, the second child, and the third child is Marcelo Javier Jr. Alam mo, I admire the co-founder of Kamuning Bakery, si Marcelo Javier Sr. The husband, do you know why the husband is not in the picture? This is 1950 picture.
Yeah.
1950 to. Because the husband volunteered to fight the Japanese during World War II. When
Oh.
the Japanese occupied the Philippines, he joined the guerrillas, he fought, and died fighting in the Battle of Manila 1945, when this youngest child was still in the stomach of their mother. Pregnant pa siya when the husband died fighting the Japanese 1945. So this widow raised these three people, these three kids, by herself with Kamuning Bakery. And at the background is the first delivery truck of Kamuning Bakery. They used to have this
Ah,
delivery small van where they deliver to the neighborhood.
ano
Uh,
yung bodogos? Bodigos?
Bodigos is a kind of cookie. It's a kind
Ah,
of native sorry. Tapos galletas also is a type of Spanish
yeah.
style cookie or
Mhm.
biscuit.
Ano, how
Tatlo
old
yan.
were you here? How old were you
Ano?
here?
I'm not here. I'm not in the
Ah,
photo.
sino to?
I know. The one standing beside. Ako yan. That was 5 years ago. Sorry. 5 years
Okay.
ago. When I newly bought the Kamuning Bakery, somebody was interviewing me. So I had a picture there taken.
Okay. All right.
Uh,
Next, let's go to the next photo. Oh,
I
ito
thank you.
na.
Uy, pinadala ng secretary ko. I was fortunate naman to have been given 15 Catholic Mass Media Awards for my Philippine Star columns. 15 awards, Best Business Column, Best Opinion Column, and others, including 3 CMMA Hall of Fame awards. This
Where
was
do
one
you
of
find
them.
the time to do all this writing and then your op-ed, your
That's a very good question. That's a very good question.
and
Complaint
later,
ng,
wait, Wilson, later I
yes.
will ask you what made you a poet.
Yes.
Ah,
When I was a kid pa, my late mother was an educator. Alam mo ba, my mother siguro was the only Chinese parent in the entire Philippines who wanted her only son, as I have a sister, I'm the only son ng nanay ko. She's not wealthy, she's a teacher. Di ba? Teachers don't become wealthy. Pero she wanted me to be a novelist. Can you imagine? I was a kid, sabi niya, when you grow up, maging novelist ka nga. Na-shock ako. Ang sagot ko sa kanya, alam mo, sagot ko sa kanya, wala akong kilalang tao in the Philippines. I don't know of a person in the Philippines who is a full-time novelist. At the time, I don't know now. Maybe now we have. So to make her happy I started writing all sorts of things in the school, in the letter to the editor, the newspapers, just to make her happy because she loved poetry. She writes poetry. She likes essays. She likes music. She's that type of person. And she told me pa, alam mo Wilson, unfortunately in the Philippines and Southeast Asia, most of the ethnic Chinese minority focus only on business and engineering and all that. Pero sabi ng mother ko, do you know in China, the traditional ng ancestors natin, the traditional culture, civilization, poetry, music, literature, yun ang highest endeavors. The intellectuals and the scholars are the highest in the social strata. The
mhm.
business people are ranked the same as the prostitutes daw sa baba. Hindi siya, she's not diminishing the of the business people, no, pero hindi yan kataas ang social status daw. Kaya sabi
Yeah.
niya, if you know how to write and you could write very well, you could live forever. Sabi niya, what do you mean that you could be immortal, live forever? If you write one good poem lang or one good novel, people will remember you for ages. But if you're a tycoon, you have tens of billions of pesos, there are so many tycoons in the cemetery, people don't even know their names, even their
What was your poetry
descendants.
about? What was your
Ako,
poetry about?
I write in English and Filipino poems. When I was in college, every issue of Patanglawin school paper, I have a poem. And the Height Literary Magazine, I have poems also. Tapos si Alfredo Navarro Salanga, naabutan mo ba yun? Sa
Yes.
Kila Critiuson, they published my poems in Caracoa when I was in college. When I was in
Mhm.
college. I will continue to write. I will
Good,
continue to write.
good.
Yes. I love
Next.
writing because of my mother. Pero, yun. Ito naman, those are new breads we started during the pandemic. During this,
Uh-huh.
on one side, this is the floss bread, chicken floss bread. The
Oh,
other one is I could not see. This is
cheese roll. Parang cheese roll.
a cheese roll special. This is
Oo.
cheese roll special, and this is floss bread na Singapore inspired. Alam mo
Yes.
ba, ano mo, Nancy, during the pandemic, in order to cheer up our customers, because the whole world, di ba, during the pandemic, the whole world was depressed, emotionally depressed, and all. I don't want our customers to be sad whenever they go into the bakery and come out. I want them to be cheered up. Sabi ko sa mga tao natin, minsan lang dumadaan sila, minsan lang dumalabas yung mga customer, they should come out of the bakery smiling. Sabi ko, let's think of new ideas and new products to cheer them up. So we created a lot of cakes. We started baking all kinds of cakes, all kinds of breads. Hindi lang Filipino and Spanish style breads, ha. We also have baguettes na ever since the pandemic, ha. Sabi ko sa bakers, magaling naman kayo, pwede kayo mag-YouTube dyan. Ang galing ng mga baker namin, ha. Did not go to culinary school, nag-YouTube lang sila. Ang galing. Nagbabaguette na kami. We also have baguette. We also have sourdough for the first time in 80 years. Kamuning Bakery during the pandemic, we have sourdough. We have rye breads, all kinds of rye breads. We
Wow.
also use the flour to create tortilla wraps. Para hindi
Aha.
ma-bored ang customer, para matuwa ang customer. Ang
Yeah.
dami natutuwa. I also taught our cooks to cook matsang. Matsang is the,
Ah,
yes, glutinous rice dumplings that would,
yeah.
akala nila suman. Sabi ko, hindi siya suman. Ano siya, para siyang paella na malakit rice. Ang galing ng bakers namin, saka cooks, believe ako, ang galing nila.
That is,
Tapos, even the foreign media featured our matsang, nagulat ako.
that's good.
And all
Ito
kinds
pa.
of cakes.
Okay. So
This is Pandesuelo. I'm holding Pandesuelo. Nakita mo? This
ah,
photo. As big as a fist talaga yung Pandesuelo.
okay.
Alam mo, I
Alright.
even registered the name Pandesuelo sa Intellectual Property Office because everybody forgot about it anymore.
Uh-huh.
Rinehistro ko pa yan.
Well, that's good. You know, parang ngayon, naging curious na. I'm sure si Anton naging curious na rin. But before we end, Wilson,
Yes.
seeing how I didn't even finish all the introduction I have about you, especially that you're very influential with your column in one of the top newspapers,
Thank you.
Philippine Star, and you still teach? Are you
Yes,
still teaching?
I stopped teaching na during the pandemic and before kasi mahirap mag-teach in schedule. Nagagalit accountant ko, sir, nauubos oras mo kasi going to school, correcting papers. Kasi I taught writing. I have to read every single essay and I like to comment on every sentence, every paragraph. Nagagalit accountant ko. Wala ka ng oras matulog.
So
I stopped for a while.
That's my next question. What your staff was saying. Where do you find the time to do everything? Plus, do you have yung family life mo and then your businesses? How do you
Very good.
manage?
Alam mo, nakakatawa nga. One of my, actually my main business is real estate, diba? I started out as a real estate broker. I still am now a real estate broker. If you want to sell or buy anything properties, I could assist you or transfer your title. But I now invest and rent out or buy and sell. Yun, I have to find time and try to balance it lang. It's always trying to balance lang time by priorities and trying to be hopefully trying to be efficient. And I could find time because I have very good people in the office.
Okay.
I have very good people in the company. So I could do a lot of things. Kasi on your own, no matter how brilliant or smart you are, you can do only a few things in a day. So I have good people helping out, good, reliable people. That's one secret.
Well, we are to the audience. We are meeting Wilson, who has so many hats. He's a passionate historian. He's a businessman in real estate and many other properties. He's also into culture, which was inspired by his mom. So you know, we applaud you for being an awesome senior.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's also because
Not yet pa ako senior. I look senior, hindi pa ako senior.
Oh, sige, okay.
Joke lang.
All right. Pero yung mom mo
I'm still always mistaken for, no, kasi walang sleep.
But your mother, who was a
Yes,
senior, was able to inspire you. Now it's your
yes,
turn. Before we end, please
yes.
give us an inspiring message to the audience. This is
Yes,
global, remember, a global.
yes. Thank you very much.
And
Um,
Wilson, wait, before
yes,
that, I'm sorry. I
yes, yes.
see that your staff loves you very much. They
Yes, they're
respect
very
you.
hardworking.
So you can also add in how you keep your staff from encouraging, how you motivate them.
Ah, I consider and treat them like teammates in a basketball team. I'm not a hasendero na they're just parang we're teammates. I consider them as friends. So I talk to them. Sabi pa nga ng ibang staff ko, nagkakarat ka ba, congressman? Sabi, ba't kinakausap mo pa yung cook, yung mga ganyan-ganyan? I always ask them things. Kamusta na kayo? How's your parents? How's your ano? Once in a while, I try to treat them like teammates in a basketball team. It's not
Okay.
doing business or owning a bakery. It's not like a tennis player. You're a superstar by yourself. It's like a basketball team or like a football team. You have to have a group of people doing things together well to do well. Yun. Hindi
Okay.
pwedeng one person lang na magaling. Okay na.
Okay.
So that's my message lang to all the people is whatever you're doing, whether you own a bakery, you own a business, you're a professor, you're a doctor, try to love what you are doing and enjoy it. Then no matter what difficulties come in, you can endure it. You can forget about the problems. And
Correct.
also, always be optimistic based on reality. Hindi
Yeah.
optimistic based on illusions. Always be positive thinking. No matter what happens in the world, even if the worst tragedy, which is the global pandemic, comes in, I always think nothing is forever in the world. Nothing. Not even pandemics. Not even your financial, economic troubles. Not even your emotional or love problems. Anything. Nothing in this world is forever. So that also reminds me to be humble.
Okay.
Even if you're wealthy or well-known or successful, nothing is forever also. So we have to be grounded and think that we are temporary in this world.
Okay.
Yun, parang
So
optimistic.
may forever pala. O, so ano yung bucket list mo ngayon?
Bucket list ko, very good. Is to hopefully open more branches when the economy of the world recovers and the Philippines this year. I think the Philippine economy will be I'm planning to open a branch in Mekawayan, Bulacan. My nephew has a place there. He wants to franchise it from me. I, I don't have a franchising system, pero he applied already. Sabi ko, sige, sige. And then have more outlets and also write more books siguro. I used to write Dr. Isagani Cruz of De La Salle University before. I'm from Ateneo, pero he asked me to write those books, 5 books published by De La Salle University Press. I should do more of those things. And also, I should relax more.
Yes.
I should
Good.
relax more.
How? How?
By I bought 3 places. I will invite you and Anton. I bought 3 places in Pansol, Laguna, na may hot spring, private pool resort. I haven't visited in years, maniwala ka. Kasi 2 years of pandemic, we cannot go out, diba, too much. But I will go there this weekend, try to take a look at it. I will try to relax there and regularly. Kasi,
Promise yan. That's a promise.
yes, and I will sleep more. I should learn
Oh,
to sleep more. My sister always complaining, I'm not sleeping enough now.
pareho
And
tayo. Ako rin.
yes, but you look very young. You look very well rested. Maybe it's the
Baka kailangan mo magpa-eye doctor.
hindi. And also one more thing I hope to do sa Kamuning Bakery. Yun, I am restoring the whole place. It will be nicer na in a few more months. It's right now being and then the electricity, everything will be built and restore everything. It will be a nicer Kamuning Bakery Cafe at 83 years.
Pero paano yung rustic appeal noon? Baka
I kept everything. Even
Okay.
the burnt out equipments are still there. I
Okay.
did not take it out. Nagalit ako sa mga tao ko. Ba't mo sisirain? Even the walls na may mga burnt parts, yung mga wooden
Yeah.
I retain everything because I want the exact feel of what it was before and now to be the same.
Oh,
Restoring siya, hindi siya rebuild. May bubong lang kami, pero everything is as is. And all our chairs and tables, very durable. They're still the same. We just repair them once in a while. They are called batibo chairs and
yes.
table.
Yes.
Uh, the old traditional ones. Alam mo,
Yes.
thank you to the Javier family. When I bought this, I said, wala bang table and chairs itong bakery na to? Mayroon sa bodega namin in our warehouse, small bodega. Why are they there? No use na daw. Sabi ko, can I just buy them from you? That's yours na lang. We're not using them. Rusty na nga some of that chairs and
Yeah.
tables. I just repaired them, repainted them. It's very nice.
Yes.
Very
Nakaupo
nice.
na ako. I've been to your cafe. In fact,
I thank you,
I
yes.
bought your breads nung May 10th.
I thank you. Hindi ko alam ha. Alam mo, I'll tell you about the Batibo chair. You know Jarius Bondok,
Yes.
the columnist of Philippine Star?
Mm-hmm.
When I just newly bought Kamuning Bakery, he was so thrilled. He and his wife went there. Nagulat ako, sir, how did you discover this bakery? Alam mo, sabi ni Jarius Bondok, Wilson, I was still wearing short pants. My parents already brought me here. And then when he saw na ako na ang owner, sabi niya, Wilson, can I buy one of the Batibot chairs? Gustong-gusto niya na kasi he was still in short pants now. And I would
Magkano
have,
na
alam mo,
ngayon? Magkano? Kasi before I bought one batibot ha, 800
yes.
pesos.
Ay, sorry, I don't know kasi I don't have time to ask. I never bought naman kasi we have many Batibot chairs in the bakery.
Don't
So
sell
we
it
never
na.
bought. I did not sell. I did not sell. Nagjo-joke lang siya. Sabi ko, bilhin ko lang. Sabi ko, it's not for sale. Senator Lauren Legarda, a very nice senator, when she went to talk at our Pandesal Forum, sabi niya may mga antique chairs and tables kami. Wilson, magkano yan? Bilhin ko kasi gusto niya yung antique feel. Sabi ko, sorry I could not sell this kasi this part of the
Yes.
I even have an antique phone, 1939. You'd be
Wow.
amazed. Alam mo, it's still working. I don't know where, nasa bodega ba yan? It, ganyan na, ginaganyan-ganyan mo, and then you, fantastic. The phone is still there.
Okay.
I will install it. Very interesting.
You know,
And the oldest
go on.
door roller in Metro Manila is still there. Door roller, steel and wood.
Ikaw lang ang hindi antique dyan.
Yun nga, sabi ko nga.
Anyway.
2 bakers antique.
Really? How old are they?
60 plus is not old naman, compared to me, parang old. Hindi pa sila old, pero 60 plus, hindi sila old. Pero linuloko ko lang, may isa late 60s na. Pero looks okay naman.
Okay. It has been a very, very enlightening, knowledgeable time to spend with you, Wilson. But, people will continue to read you and
Thank you, Nancy.
And follow your opinions and buy your pandesal. I hope matuloy yung pandesal day this year.
Yes, every day, every year. No, we also donate public schools. Maniwala ka, Nancy.
Okay, that's
we're not a big business, but we ever since I bought Kamuning Bakery, every year we donate one small public school building, 2 classrooms in the rural areas.
Okay.
In Samar, in Tarlac, Pangasinan.
Okay. All right. So more power to you, Wilson, because
thank you, Nancy.
Actually, the way I would describe you is you're dynamic. Yeah,
thank you.
You're dynamic.
Should learn from people like you.
I know you're dynamic in the present, so you can continue to inspire people. Audience, let us follow the optimism of Wilson Lee Flores and how he manages his staff and his businesses and his time. And he promised we have to watch his promise. He said he will relax because I think that's the perfect balance. Thank you very much, Wilson. Thank you, audience.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
An awesome person here in our awesome planet. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Nancy. See you again at the bakery, ha?
Okay.
Let us eat, ha? Let us eat.
Okay, isama mo si Waki.
Yes, si Waki. Alam mo, nakakatuwa si Waki. Whenever I see him, I feel energized and young.
Yes.
Kasi he doesn't look his age.
He doesn't.
The way he wears his,
you know why?
Yes,
kasi
why?
Parating in love yan eh.
Yun nga, theory ko, baka yun ang reason, sabi ko, inspired. But he even wears, he's a very cheerful, funny,
He'll be in one of the awesome guests also one of these
He's a
days.
very nice guy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Nakakatawa.
Anyway, so are
Thank
you,
you.
and you are a very
Ay,
inspiring guy. Thank you very much,
thank
Wilson.
you. Saka thank you very much, Nancy, to you and to Anton. I
To
learned a
Anton.
lot from both of you.
I'm sure Anton is listening there. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
in the next bite that you take of Pandesal, remember Kamuning Bakery and the guy
Thank you.
behind it who restored it, none other than Wilson Lee Flores. God
Thank
bless
you
you.
very much.
Good
Thank you
night.
very much.